Okay. Hello. 7.1, we're taking what we used with exponents and using that to help us with radicals. Chapter 7 is all based on radicals. So the first thing we need to learn is some terminology. The nth root. N is basically a number we can fit any number in there. Okay, so we can do second root, third root, fourth root, 100th root, 200th root, 200th root. Oh goodness. Okay, so anything can go in there, and basically it's saying if you have something that looks like this, a to the n equals b. A and b are both real numbers, and n is a positive number. Then a is an nth root of b. So like below, it says 5 squared is 25, so 5 is the what root of 25? Second, or you could say squared, either way. Square / second root of 25. So 5 cubed equals 125, so 5 is the what root of 125? Third. Or cubed, either way you want to say it. Okay, 5 to the 4th equals what?
625.
625, so 5 is the what root of 625? Fourth is correct. Alright, 5 to the 5th is 3,125, so 5 is the what root? Fifth root of 3,125. Kind of get it? All right, what's 5 to the 10th?
9,765,625.
9,765,625. So what is the what root of what?
5 is the 10th root.
5 is the 10th root of that number. 9,765, no, 9,765,625.
I'm proud of myself. I can say that long number.
Yay, Maria. Okay, we get the whole nth root thing? Terminology? Yes? Right? The magnet's telling you how to do it? Bailey, back there? Focus. All right. So just a note is that you can have more than one nth root of a number. For example, both 2 and -2 are 4th roots of 16 because you see down here 2 to the 4th equals 16 and -2 to the 4th equals 16. Okay, so it's okay that there's more than one root of a number. All right, just putting that general thing out there. Now this next part you're going to definitely use on your homework. There's no real answer for even roots of negative numbers. No real answer. That would be what you write down on your paper. For example, 4th root of -100. That would be no real answer. Because it's an even root of a negative number. All right, just some vocabulary. Our awesome little squiggly sign here, the doop, that is our radical symbol, okay? The number here that can change, that's called our index. All right, that's our index, and the number inside is our radicand. Radicand. All right, so if we were going to write 2 to the 4th equals 16 as a radical, what would be our index? The 4th. All right, the exponent becomes the index. What would be the radicand? 16, and that equals 2. So you can kind of go from exponent form to radical form, back and forth. All right, for the next one, what would be your index?
3.
And your radicand. And then your answer would be 5. Yes, not 3. Oops. My bad. All right, thank you. Now question. Say we have something that looks like this. What is the index?
2. 2.
Look what I wrote.
2.
It would be 2. Anytime you don't see anything, it's an invisible 2. Okay, so you assume it's a 2. All right, so that would be for the square root of x. So 2 is the index. All right, so we're going to find these real roots. It's asking for real roots. So for A, we have the cubed root of negative 8. What will that equal? That is not true. Huh? It would be negative 2. Just that. It's an odd index, so there's definitely going to be an answer. It's when there's an even index of a negative number that there's no real answer. Do y'all remember how to put these in the calculator? Showed you, maybe I showed you the other? Yeah, so you put your radicand, so that's the number inside, and raise it to 1 over the index. That's how you put them in the calculator. And this works the best when it's when we actually get whole numbers. Okay, so what's the cubed root of negative 27?
Negative 3.
Negative 3 is correct. What about the fourth root of 81? It gets 3. If you don't do this in the calculator, say you don't have a calculator that does this, you can still break it down. So I'm going to break it down to 9 and 9, then I break it down to 3, 3, 3, and 3. Since 4 is our index, what do you think we need a set of? 4 to be able to pull it out. So can we pull those 3's out? Yes, so the answer would be 3. What do you think the answer to the next one is? 7. Okay, good. We haven't forgotten this. What about the last one?
No real answer.
No real answer is correct. Because, why?
It's a negative with the even index.
Yes. Even index with a negative radicand. No real answer. That got a little crazy. Now, on the back of the notes, things get a little bit more complicated. All right? Now there's absolute value that we possibly need to put in our answer, but there's only certain times that this happens. Okay? You only need an absolute value, so this would be the answer that you end up with. If n is an even number, or the index is even, okay? So we get an even index, and a could possibly be negative. All right, so whatever you end up with could possibly be negative. All right, so we are going to try to simplify this. For A, example A here, what's the index? 2. So do we maybe need absolute value at the end? Yes. Okay, so index is even, so need absolute value on any parts of answer that could be negative. Hopefully that long drawn out thought will help you later remember how we figured this out. Okay? So at the end, we're going to come back and see if we need absolute value. Well, what's the square root of 4? 2. All right, we already got that. So what do you think the square root of x to the 6th is?
X to the 3.
X, Maria says x cubed. If we squared all that, could we come back to what was in the radicand? Yes. Okay, so I definitely don't need that squared as part of my answer. It was just a thought. So All right, we've got 2x cubed. Now, could any part of that possibly be negative? Is the 2 going to be negative? No, it's positive. Okay, so the 2 doesn't need absolute value, but x cubed. If we plugged in a negative number for x, would x cubed come out to be negative? Yes, it would, so that part needs absolute value. There's your answer. Any questions on that?
I don't know. Okay, do the next one.
Okay, well, it might take till we get to the third one. All right, the next one is our index odd or even. So are we going to have a possibility of absolute value in our answer? No, we won't. So let's see, what's cubed root of a cubed?
A.
It's just a. If you need help thinking about this stuff, just break that down. A times A times A, and since it's cubed root, we need sets of 3. Okay, so an A comes out. What about B to the 6th?
B to the second.
B squared.
Yeah, so if you need to, just list them out. B times B times B. We're looking for sets of 3. So we have 2 sets of 3, so B squared comes out. And did we need to double check the absolute value stuff?
Nope.
No, because it was an odd index. So odd index. So no need for absolute value. Any questions? All right, for the third one is our index even. Yes, so at the end, do we need to check and see what's possibly negative? Yes. All right. What is the 4th root of x to the 4th?
X.
Just x. What about 4th root of y squared? I mean, y to the 8th. Oops, I do that way too often. Okay, so does anybody need help getting to that point? No? Okay, don't forget that if it comes down to it, just list 8 of these out. And you're looking for sets of 4. Okay. All right, now we need to check to see what parts of this could be negative. If we plug in a negative number for x, could it be negative? Yes, x would come out to be negative.
I don't know.
So pretend,
Oh yeah, if it's odd, it's whatever you count.
Oh, no.
what?
I was wrong.
Let's just imagine, okay, that x equals a negative number. Okay, so if we plug negative number in for x, it's going to be negative, right?
Now I know what Maria's asking. If you plug the
So if we plug that negative in, then x is a negative number, just straight up. So that at least needs to be an absolute value. What if we plugged a negative number in for y? So it'd be x times negative number squared. What would happen to that negative number? It turned to a positive, so x times a positive number, and we wouldn't have to worry about it. So what needs to be an absolute value? Just the x. Just the x. If you plug a negative number in for y, because it's squared, it would end up being positive. So that's why we don't have to worry about it. Are we okay? All right, for the last one, do we have to worry about the absolute value stuff? No, yay. Okay, what's cubed root of negative 27? Negative 3. And then cubed root of c to the 6th. If you need to, list them all out. We've got 2 sets, so it would be c squared. And do we need absolute value?
No,
Why?
because it's not even.
It's not an even index. All right. Any questions? No? Go forth.